Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is going to flip the internet upside down. Imagine this. A man the world swore was gone, buried, mourned, written off in rap history books, suddenly popping back up like he never left. You heard me right. King Von, the same Von whose name shook the streets, is allegedly not only alive, but just pulled off the wildest stunt yet. Meeting up with his own sister in a secret reunion, so hush hush. The industry's scrambling to keep it buried. Now ask yourself, how deep does this rabbit hole go? How many times have we been lied to, manipulated, spoon-fed official stories while the truth played out in plain sight? If Von really faked his death, if he's been hiding outside the U.S. this whole time, then what else has been staged? Who's been covering for him? And why risk everything just to come back and link with family in person? This isn't just a reunion. It's a bombshell. A ticking time bomb ready to explode in the face of everyone who thought they had the full story. And tonight, we're peeling back the layers, exposing the whispers, and asking the questions that no one else dares to. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste a single second, because the streets are buzzing louder than a broken speaker at a block party. The whispers have turned into screams, and the name on everybody's lips is the one name that was supposed to stay buried in silence. King Von. Now, if you thought the story ended with those candlelight vigils, the teary-eyed Instagram lives, and the industry's fake RIP posts, think again. Because just when the world was ready to close that chapter, Von apparently flipped the script, rewrote the ending, and walked right back into the picture, like a ghost refusing to stay in the grave. But here's the real kicker. It's not just that Von is alive. It's not just that he faked his death and has been living incognito like some street legend turned urban myth. No. It's the fact that he allegedly pulled off a secret reunion with his sister, a meeting so carefully orchestrated, so dripping with secrecy, that even Hollywood couldn't script it better. And the craziest part? The evidence, the whispers, the so-called proof of this hidden meetup are all spilling out at once, shaking up everything we thought we knew about Von's fate. So let's rewind for a second. Let's remind ourselves who King Von really was. Born Davon Bennett. This wasn't just another rapper with a catchy beat and a flashy chain. Von was the face of Chicago drill, raw, unfiltered, uncut. His music wasn't just storytelling. It was street documentation, tales of a life soaked in survival and revenge. He had a reputation that made labels drool and the streets respect him, but that same reputation made him a walking target. Von's rise was fast, dangerous, and loaded with controversy. And when the news broke back in November 2020 that Von had been shot and killed outside an Atlanta nightclub, the hip-hop world shattered. We saw the footage. We read the reports. The police gave their statements. Blogs went into overdrive. Fans flooded timelines with RIP posts. It was a cultural funeral that seemed undeniable. But what if it was all smoke and mirrors? What if the entire thing was a performance staged so perfectly that nobody questioned it? Think about it. Von was a man constantly in the spotlight, constantly dodging enemies, constantly one move away from jail or the grave. What better way to escape that cycle than to fake your death? A vanishing act pulled straight from the pages of a gangster novel. And now, years later, the story takes a twist nobody saw coming. Von meeting up with his sister. Anonymous sources are whispering that the reunion went down outside the U.S., in a location carefully chosen to dodge cameras, cops, and curious fans. Picture it. Von stepping out of shadows, face hidden under a hood, eyes darting left and right, before embracing the sister who mourned him publicly while maybe knowing deep down her brother wasn't really gone. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just some sentimental family moment. This is a scandal. Because if Von is alive, then hundreds of people, label executives, lawyers, cops, even coroners, were either duped or directly in on the game. You mean to tell me that the man whose autopsy photos leaked, whose name was carved into headstones, suddenly shows up alive and well? Somebody has some explaining to do. Now, let's talk about why this reunion matters. Von's sister has been vocal in the past, airing out family drama, posting subliminal messages, even taking shots at industry players who supposedly benefited from Von's death. She's never been afraid to stir the pot. And now, according to whispers, she's been spotted overseas looking happier, lighter, like a woman carrying a secret too explosive to share. Could it be because she's been reunited with her brother, the man the world swore was gone forever? The timeline gets even messier. Right after these reunion rumors started swirling, fans dug up old clips, cryptic tweets, and shady interviews that suddenly make a lot more sense. Remember when certain people in Vaughn's circle dodged questions about his death? Remember when some fans swore his casket photos looked staged? Remember those conspiracy theories about his body double? Well, guess what? Those crazy theories don't sound so crazy anymore. And the internet being the internet, it didn't take long for alleged screenshots, blurry videos, and so-called leaked audio clips to hit the scene. Some claimed to show Vaughn's voice. Others claimed to show him in the background of family photos. Face half hidden but unmistakable to die-hard fans. Of course, skeptics scream Photoshop and AI deepfake. But deep down, you know the streets are thinking, what if it's real? If Vaughn really pulled this off, it wouldn't be the first time a celebrity faked their death to escape the chaos. Tupac, anyone? How many years have we heard whispers at PAX chilling somewhere in Cuba, sipping mojitos and laughing at the world? Vaughn may have just taken a page out of the same playbook, but instead of hiding forever, he's bold enough to step out and reconnect with family. That's not just guts, that's pure Chicago drill energy. But let's not act like this is all hugs and happy tears, because Vaughn's alleged reappearance raises serious questions. If he's alive, does that mean there was never a body in the casket? Was the funeral just a performance of the cameras? Did the industry cash in on the streams, the posthumous albums, the memorial merchandise, all while knowing Vaughn was out there living the shadows? That's not just scandalous, it's straight up sinister. And then there's Dirk, Vaughn's brother-in-arms, his OTF counterpart, the man who cried real tears on stage, who dedicated songs, who built entire albums around Vaughn's memory. If Vaughn is alive and meeting with his sister, does Dirk know? Was Dirk in on it the whole time? Or worse, was he kept in the dark, just like the rest of us? Imagine betrayal, the headlines, the absolute chaos if Dirk found out the truth not from Vaughn, but from the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're looking at here isn't just a family reunion. It's the unraveling of one of the biggest mysteries in modern rap history. It's a storyline so wild, so unbelievable, that even Netflix couldn't dream it up. Yet here we are, piece by piece, seeing it unfold in real time. And let's be clear, this isn't just about Vaughn and his sister. This is about trust. This is about loyalty. This is about a game so dirty that even death itself can be manipulated, staged, and monetized. Fans poured their hearts into mourning Vaughn, only to now question if their grief was based on a lie. And that's the kind of betrayal that cuts deeper than any drill lyric ever could. Now, here's where it gets juicier. Alleged insiders claim that this reunion wasn't a one-off. They say Vaughn has been quietly linking up with select family members for months, carefully choosing times and places that won't raise suspicion. Picture that. Vaughn living double lives, one as a dead legend, the other as a hidden man still connected to the people who matter most. And if that's true, the walls are closing in, because secrets this big don't stay buried forever. And that's where we leave it, for now, because as the story unravels, the questions only get darker, the rumors only get wilder, and the fallout only gets messier. Touch. And just when you thought this couldn't get any messier, boom, enter the evidence. Because in scandals like this, there's always somebody willing to talk, always a mysterious source with just enough credibility to make you question everything you thought you knew. And boy, did the streets deliver. First came the alleged airport footage. Grainy, blurry, probably recorded on a Nokia flip phone from 2005, but still enough to spark a wildfire online. The clip allegedly showed a man with Vaughn's exact walk. Slow, deliberate, shoulders hunched, that same unmistakable swagger. Stepping off an international flight under heavy security. That's him. That's Vaughn! Fans screamed across TikTok comments, while skeptics shot back with, nah, that's just a lookalike. But the timing? The timing lined up exactly with Vaughn's sister posting mysterious Instagram stories from an undisclosed location overseas. Coincidence? Please. Then came the so-called hotel leak. A whistleblower. because of course there's always a whistleblower, claimed they saw Vaughn and his sister checking into a luxury hotel under fake names. According to this anonymous staff member, Vaughn wore a hoodie pulled low over his face, while his sister carried designer bags stuffed with cash. It was him, no doubt in my mind. The whistleblower allegedly told a blog that thrives on stirring the pot. And just like that, headlines exploded. Vaughn caught on hidden camera? Secret family meeting in Dubai? The internet ate it up like it was Thanksgiving dinner. And let's talk about the money. Because if Vaughn really faked his death, how's he been surviving all this time? Where's the income? Well, insiders claim that Vaughn's estate has been funneling cash into offshore accounts. That's right. Millions in royalties, streaming checks, and posthumous album sales allegedly rerouted into secret bank accounts under his control. If true, that means while fans were crying and buying tribute merch, Vaughn was chilling in the cut, stacking dollars and plotting his quiet return. But here's where it gets downright scandalous. Alleged leaked documents. Again, take these with a mountain of salt. Show suspicious payments from record labels to consultants in countries outside the U.S. The amounts? Ridiculous. 6 figures, sometimes 7. And the dates of those payments? They align suspiciously close to times when rumors of Vaughn sightings popped up online. Are we saying the labels knew Vaughn was alive and just played along because the dead rapper narrative sells better? Oh, you bet that's what the whispers are saying. Meanwhile, the public reaction has been nothing short of nuclear. Fans are torn right down the middle. On one side, you have diehard screaming, "We told you so! Vaughn never died. Y'all just didn't want to believe." These are the same fans who swore those funeral photos were staged, who made TikToks pointing out inconsistencies in the official reports, who compared Vaughn's case to Tupac, Elvis, and even Michael Jackson. To them, this isn't news, it's confirmation. On the other side, you got the skeptics, the ones rolling their eyes and saying, "Really? Y'all think Vaughn pulled a Houdini?" They argue it's all just a cash grab, that Vaughn's name has become the perfect conspiracy bait for clicks, views, and merch. "If Vaughn's alive," one angry fan tweeted, "then I want a refund for every candle I lit and every shirt I bought." Ouch! But perhaps the most intriguing reaction comes from people inside the industry. You'd think rappers would either stay silent or deny everything. But nope. A few have been messy enough to drop cryptic hints. One producer tweeted, "Ain't nothing what it seems, y'all better wake up." Another rapper, known for always stirring drama, posted a laughing emoji with no caption right after the reunion rumors dropped. Coincidence or guilty conscience? And then, of course, there's a so-called audio leak. An anonymous clip, passed around on Telegram like contraband, allegedly features Vaughn's voice talking about being tired of hiding and needing to see my blood. The clip is muffled shaky, but fans swear the cadence, the slang, the laugh. It's all Vaughn. Critics call it AI generated, just another deepfake scam. But the timing, always the timing, lines up with Vaughn's sister suddenly disappearing from social media for a week, only to pop back up posting cryptic captions like, "Family first, always." Yeah, sure, totally normal. And let's not forget the lavish spending. Because if Vaughn's alive, he's not living like some fugitive in the shadows. Oh no, he's allegedly been spotted in exotic cars overseas, throwing cash in nightclubs and rocking unreleased designer fits. One rumor even claims he rented out an entire private island for a weekend getaway with close family members. An island, by the way, paid for in straight cash. No paper trail, no receipts, just a man who supposedly doesn't exist, living better than most billionaires. But here's where things get really spicy. Anonymous insiders claim the reunion with his sister wasn't just about love or family. It was about business. Word on the street is Vaughn has been planning a comeback project, a collection of unreleased tracks and visuals that he wants to drop himself, not through his old label. Imagine the chaos if Vaughn pops up online tomorrow, alive and well, dropping a mixtape titled Resurrection. It'd break the internet. Labels would lose billions. Lawsuits would fly. And the fans, they'd lose their minds. And you know who else is sweating bullets? The government. If Vaughn's alive, that means official reports, police files, death certificates, all of it were either forged, faked, or flat out wrong. That's not just embarrassing. That's criminal already. Conspiracy theorists are demanding investigations, calling it the biggest cover-up in hip-hop history. Imagine Congress holding hearings about whether or not King Von is alive. Stranger things have happened, folks. But perhaps the most heartbreaking reactions are coming from the fans who truly mourn Von, the ones who cried real tears, who tattooed his name on their skin, who felt like they lost a brother. For them, the idea that Von might be alive is a mix of joy and rage. Joy that their hero is still breathing. Rage that they were lied to, manipulated into grieving while Von allegedly lived it up overseas. One viral TikTok summed it up perfectly. If this is true, I don't know whether to scream from happiness or throw my phone through a wall. And we haven't even touched on the biggest question yet. If Von reunited with his sister, who else has he been in contact with? Family? Old friends? Maybe even enemies? Because once you start reappearing, once you start poking your head out of the shadows, you're not just risking exposure, you're risking retaliation. Von had enemies, serious ones, people who celebrated his so-called death. If they find out he's alive, phew, the streets will erupt like a volcano. So where does that leave us? We got grainy footage, anonymous whistleblowers, shady payments, leaked audio, lavish spending, and fans foaming at the mouth. The puzzle pieces are messy, contradictory, and unbelievable. And yet, somehow, they're starting to form a picture. A picture of a man who fooled the world, staged his exit, and is now tiptoeing his way back into the spotlight, starting with the person he trusted most, his sister. But here's the thing. Secrets this big don't stay secrets forever. If Von is alive, if he really did fake his death and pull off the greatest trick in rap history, then the fallout is going to be catastrophic. We're talking lawsuits, betrayals, broken friendships, maybe even criminal charges. And the scariest part? We're only scratching the surface. Because as wild as these leaks and rumors sound, the real storm hasn't even started yet. The walls are closing in, the whispers are turning into roars, and if the truth comes crashing down, the industry will never be the same again. And here's where the whole thing flips from wild rumor to full-blown catastrophe. Because once the whispers of Von being alive turned into full conversations, the so-called powers that be couldn't just sit back and watch the internet spiral. Oh no, suddenly, lawyers are issuing statements, record labels are going into panic mode, and certain unnamed government officials are allegedly scrambling to figure out how in the world a man declared dead on official documents might actually be walking around booking 5-star hotel suites. Let's start with the legal mess. If Von really is alive, we're looking at one of the biggest fraud cases in entertainment history. Think about it. Millions in insurance payouts, label contracts voided by his death, memorial concerts, tribute albums. All of that was built on the foundation of him being gone. If he's alive, that's fraud on a scale so massive, entire companies could collapse. Some lawyers are already whispering about potential lawsuits worth hundreds of millions. Imagine Von himself being subpoenaed to testify in court about why he faked his death. That trial alone would break streaming records. And then there's the government investigation. Death certificates are not suggestions. They're official, legally binding documents. If Von's wasn't real, someone forged it. That means corruption, bribery, or incompetence at levels that would make headlines worldwide. Rumors are already swirling that a task force has been quietly assembled to look into the possibility of falsified records connected to Von's case. And if that's true, heads are going to roll. Doctors, coroners, maybe even cops. Somebody's going down if the truth comes out. But let's not forget the labels. If Von comes back, breathing and rapping, he becomes the ultimate free agent. He doesn't need a label. He doesn't need their contracts. He'd own the streets and the internet overnight. And that terrifies the industry. Remember, labels profited off his death. Streams skyrocketed. Merch flew off shelves. They squeezed every penny out of the tragedy. Now imagine the scandal if fans realized those same labels knew he was alive the whole time. Forget lawsuits. Fans would boycott them into the ground. We're talking chaos at boardroom levels, shareholders panicking, CEOs sweating through their designer suits. And speaking of panic, let's talk about Dirk. Poor Dirk. The man built entire songs, entire projects, entire eras of his career around honoring Vaughn's legacy. He shed real tears, or at least what we thought were real tears, on stage. He carried Vaughn's name like a badge of honor. But if Vaughn's alive, suddenly, Dirk looks like either the biggest fool on earth or the biggest liar in the game. Did he know all along? Was he in on the act? Or did Vaughn keep him in the dark, letting him mourn in public while laughing in private? Either way, the betrayal would sting deeper than any street beef. And don't think the streets are quiet about this. Oh no, the backlash is vicious. Some fans are demanding answers, threatening to cancel both Vaughn and anyone who helped him fake the death. Others are ready to forgive instantly, saying, "If my boy's alive, I don't care how he did it. I'm just glad he's back." But the angriest voices are coming from those who spent years defending his memory. They made murals, organized vigils, donated to charities in his name. Now, they feel played, manipulated, like extras in a cruel joke. One viral post summed it up perfectly. "We turned his name into a legacy. He turned our grief into a stunt." And as the backlash grows, so does the paranoia. If Vaughn is alive, what else is fake? Did other rappers fake their deaths? Was Tupac really a blueprint? Are we just pawns in an endless cycle of stage tragedies designed to make money? Suddenly, the hip-hop world feels less like culture and more like a Netflix thriller. And fans are realizing they've been binge-watching without knowing it. Meanwhile, rumors are spiraling that Vaughn has been contacting other family members and maybe even plotting a return to Chicago. Imagine the spectacle. Vaughn walking back into a block, alive, breathing, chains gleaming, surrounded by cameras and disbelief. Some fans would faint, others would riot, and the cops? They'd probably try to drag him straight into custody for faking his own death. The entire South Side would erupt like it was the 4th of July. But here's where the story takes a darker twist. Because if Vaughn is alive, that means the enemies who celebrated his death now have unfinished business. Enemies who thought they'd won, thought the war was over, suddenly realize the man they tried to erase is back in play. And trust me, they won't just sit back and let him reclaim his throne. If Vaughn resurfaces fully, the streets could descend into chaos. Beef reignited, old wounds reopened, and a target painted on Vaughn's back bigger than ever before. And yet, despite the danger, despite the chaos, despite the legal storm clouds, fans are whispering about a possible comeback project. Unreleased tracks, unreleased videos, maybe even a full documentary chronicling how Vaughn pulled it off. Imagine the opening shot, Vaughn sitting in a dimly lit room, over his head, staring into the camera as he says, "Y'all thought I was gone, huh?" The internet would melt. The industry would implode. That one clip would shatter records. But here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. Why? Why would Vaughn fake his death in the first place? Was it to escape enemies? To dodge cases? To start over? Or was it all just one giant stunt to boost his legend? Because let's be real, the myth of a dead rapper sells more than the reality of a living one. Vaughn's name skyrocketed after 2020. His music got more streams. His brand grew stronger. His image became immortal. Maybe he knew that faking his death was the only way to cement himself as a legend forever. And now, maybe, he's ready to step back into the spotlight and cash in on the myth he created. Whatever the reason, one thing for sure, the world won't be the same if this bombshell is true. Governments will scramble, labels will collapse, friendships will implode, and the streets will never look at the rap game the same again. And for Vaughn, he'll go down as a man who pulled off the greatest stunt in hip-hop history. Bigger than Tupac, bigger than Biggie, bigger than anyone who came before him. So here we are, standing at the edge of the storm. Rumors swirling, fans divided, enemies lurking, labels panicking, and Vaughn, if he really is alive, laughing in the shadows as the world loses its mind. The reunion with his sister was just the beginning. The real explosion is still coming. And when it hits, trust me, you won't want to miss it. So now the million-dollar question. What do you believe? Is King Vaughn really alive, laughing at the entire world while hiding overseas? Did he just pull off the slickest vanishing act in hip-hop history, only to come back and hug his sister like nothing ever happened? Or are we all just getting played by a master illusion that makes even Hollywood jealous? Think about it. If Vaughn is alive, then everything changes. The music industry's credibility? Gone. The government's paperwork? Worthless. The fans' grief? Manipulated. And Vaughn's enemies? Oh! They're probably shaking right now. But if it's not true, if this is just another conspiracy cooked up in a kitchen of internet chaos, then why do all the pieces line up so perfectly? Why are insiders leaking? Why are sightings popping up? And why is Vaughn's sister suddenly moving like a woman with the world's most dangerous secret? I'll leave it up to you, the audience, to decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think Vaughn is alive? Do you think this reunion really happened? Or is this just one more chapter in the never-ending saga of fake news, shady labels, and viral conspiracies? I want to hear your theories, your rants, your anger, your excitement. Don't hold back. And if you thought this breakdown was wild, just wait. Because here at Celebrity Press, we dig where others are too scared to look. We pull the curtains back on the stories the industry hopes you'll never question. So smash that like button. Subscribe for more shocking truths, and turn on those notifications, because the next scandal? Oh, trust me, it's already bubbling, and when it pops, you'll hear it here first.